Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. It's a paid request. It's time for Corey. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And Corey wanted me to talk about Tommy Lee Wallace. He had a bunch of questions here that I would answer one by one about the director Tommy Lee Wallace, who did Fright Night Part 2, the original, from 1988. He also directed Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. He did Stephen King's It, the 1990 film. He also worked very heavily on the original Halloween. There were times he played Michael Myers, among other stuff he did. And he had a bunch of questions for me about Tommy Lee Wallace. So this is cool to have like a series of questions, kind of like a little Q&A thing. Very cool. Question 1. Do you agree with John Carpenter's statements and him saying that he feels Tommy's contributions to the original Halloween were invaluable? I don't remember all of the contributions, but I know John Carpenter said that it wasn't the biggest budgeted of a film. They used what they could. I think for what low budget they had, they made a fairly good looking movie. And so people like Tommy Lee Wallace, who, I mean, he was the guy holding the knife that would hurt Jamie Lee Curtis's shoulder, and you can see behind the scenes him holding the knife that would go by Jamie Lee Curtis's shoulder, and then she goes and falls off the little belt, the stairs. Granted, the guy that played Michael Myers mostly was actually the guy who would go on to direct The Last Starfighter, Nick Castle. But John Carpenter said like everybody had their points of playing parts of Michael Myers, like an arm here, a little bit here, maybe a little scene here, someone else played him. I can't remember if he... For some reason I remember hearing that he was the one that played Michael Myers in the closet scene when he tries to get Jamie Lee Curtis. I may be wrong on that, if so I apologize. But I just mean, yeah, I mean, everybody who worked on that was invaluable because they were able to take this low-budget film and make it seem much bigger, much more atmospheric. And it shows that, hey, just because you have a low budget doesn't mean your movie has to look cheap. It has to be shitty. I mean, the original Halloween's a classic for a variety of reasons. The music, the atmosphere, the cinematography, the use of the widescreen, having people like Jamie Lee Curtis and Donald Pleasance, great actor. Yeah, Tommy Lee Wallace definitely helped on that. Do I find him an underrated director? If so, why? Sure. Because he's made a pretty decent filmography, and most of them kind of fell by the wayside. I mean, Halloween 3, I've always liked, ever since I saw it on VHS. I didn't even know there was a backlash until years later with the internet, hearing about it. I go, oh, I thought it was pretty good. I liked that it was unique. I think once again, the atmosphere of the score really helped that film. Tom Atkins, Dan O'Hurley did a really good job. I like the idea of the mask and what they did to play a trick on the children, and the grotesque way where a kid's head was turned to bugs and shit. I thought that was very ballsy. The ending is a question mark, so if you more than likely be a downer ending, but you still have that bit of hope if you want to. I know Tom Atkins feels that way. He's like, I think I saved all the kids. Why TV channels will listen to a random guy on a phone saying turn off the stop broadcasting, I don't know. But he did it twice, so maybe it worked one more time and so forth, but I'm surprised it would have worked the first 2 times. But Friday Night Part 2 I've always enjoyed. I don't think it's as good as the first one, but I think it has some good makeup effects. I like Roddy McDowall and William Ragsdale in it. Julie Carmen, nice addition. Also Brian Thompson and the gang of villains. Really enjoyed the finale. Roddy McDowall's getting his little bit of time to shine, dealing with his head, the vampire. I like the look of the more creature-looking vampire. Some weird quirky stuff like the one on, roller skates. Brian Thompson saying the names of these bugs and eating them. And then his guts of maggots falling out of his gut. I like, was it Jonathan Grease, who was in the Monster Squad as the werewolf, him as a I guess a vampire, but just more of a wolf-like vampire. Supposed to bite her on the neck, asshole. Yeah, I mean, it's not as good as the first. I don't buy that William Rasdale would just, via therapy, say, yeah, that didn't really happen. Vampires don't exist. Now, if it was some kind of hypnosis, like you find out that the therapist is a vampire, and it was some kind of hypnosis, so it made him think that way because of hypnosis, because he was working. But the same, a scene that was during the daytime, that doesn't track. So, I would have preferred, like, if you find out, okay, later you find out that doctor's been turned, but like maybe he was a vampire the whole time. That's why his meetings were at night, and he was hired by Regina to hypnotize Charlie into thinking that, just to bring his guard down. But don't do anything else, because I want to take care of him myself. Like, maybe if there's a little bit more of that, I would have bought into it. Vampire hypnosis more than, yeah, I just, nah, vampires don't exist. I would like Roddy McDowall to have been in more incorporated to the film more so throughout the gist of the plot. But I still think it's a really decent sequel, and Sally, because of what happened with the people running the company getting murdered by, oh, I forgot, the Menendez brothers, that fucked up the movie and its release. So yeah, I mean, and I like Stephen King's It, the 1990 miniseries. I like that a lot more than the newer film. So just on those three alone, I would say, yeah, a bit underrated. His pros and cons as a director, that's tough because I don't really see like I don't see like a big directing style with Tom Lee Wallace. Like, there's nothing that I come to mind of, oh, he does this type of technique or he does this type of thing that's unique to him. But I would say probably a pro is, maybe that's a negative, that he doesn't really have any visual technique that, yep, that's a Tom Lee Wallace film. Like, you know this is a John Woo film, you know that's a John Carpenter film, and you know this and that. There's nothing that really showcases, oh, this is a Tom Lee Wallace film. So I guess maybe that's a negative. But I guess a positive I would say is, he's, you've only heard that he's a very calm guy on set. So if he's a comfortable guy on set, that means he makes the actors comfortable, and that means the actors are basically easier of an environment to work in. So he gets some pretty good acting from his cast, which is cool, and it's beneficial. Working with the kids on It, and the adults in the second half, or worked with Tom Atkins and Dan O'Hurley, and worked with Roddy McDowall. You know, so he's able to showcase that at least. Do you feel any of his work has found his audience or has gotten bashed in subsequent years? Well, Halloween 3 has definitely found his audience more and more. You hear more and more of Halloween 3 being referenced in terms of like merchandise being made. Halloween 3 at the time, back in the day, was absolutely hated. It's found more love throughout the years, so I definitely think that's finding his audience because of the internet. Friday Night Part 2, it's hard to say because no one can watch it, because it's never been released. Maybe there's a Blu-ray overseas and you don't know if it's legit or not, but because of all the rights issues, it never really, not a lot of people can find to watch. I mean, you can if you look hard enough on the internet, but I mean, just to the public masses, I think if somehow the rights were able to be worked out and be reintroduced to the world via Vinegar Syndrome or Arrow Video or even Stream Factory, whatever, then perhaps that answer could best be showcased. That feels like it's been more bashed throughout the years. I think that one, it gets a bit more crap nowadays, which I disagree with. And I've always liked the second half with John Ritter and the guy from the Waltons. Can't believe I forgot his name. Richard Thomas, was it? I'm bad with names. But I like that. Yeah. I like that cast. I'll take the spider over the fucking Pennywise turned to a fucking baby, CGI baby that they make fun of. I'll take the spider any day. Sorry. But that film seems like it's gotten bashed throughout the years. But I think Halloween 3 has gotten more love. And Friday Night 2 is kind of in purgatory because of. There's definitely more interest from people because it's kind of that fruit. You know, when a product becomes discontinued and then people are more curious about that product because you can't have it. And because you can't have it, you're now more curious about it. Forbidden fruit type of thing. How would you rank Halloween 3, Friday Night 2, It, and Vampires Los Muertos? Well, I'm not a fan of Vampires Los Muertos, so that's definitely the last. Not a fan of that movie at all. So do I like Halloween 3, Friday Night 2, or It better? That's tough. Because I like them for different reasons. I want to say It is the best, but it's such a long miniseries, of course, that it's not one I rewatch a lot because you have to have a lot of time to sit down to watch it. I'm going to go with Fright Night 2 because I've always liked Fright Night 2. Halloween 3, then It. Fright Night 2 because I love the first Fright Night. And it was just great to see those characters again. So that was a nice. It was a nice little ending to the film, and I would say Fright Night 2, then Halloween 3, then It, and fuck Vampires Los Muertos. Will you agree that Tom Atkins, Tim Curry, Dana Hurley, and Roddy McDowall gave their best or one of their best performances under his direction? Tom Atkins, yeah. I mean, that and then Night of the Creeps are definitely two of his better performances, so I would agree with that. Tim Curry, yes. I would say Pennywise is my favorite performance of his. He did a wonderful job. Daniel Hurley, yeah. I mean, I liked him in the RoboCop and other stuff, but he played a really malicious villain. Play a trick on the children. He was just a very sinister feel to him in Halloween 3. Roddy McDowall, I mean, I liked him in Friday Night 2, but I mean, his best performance, I still say, was the first Fright Night. It's just, I think it's him carrying that character over. That's why I said I wish Roddy McDowall had a bit more to do in the sequel. It felt like he kind of got lost in being in the asylum and then the one guy helping him out. And I think they could have done a lot more with that character now that he's been established in the first film. That's one of my few nitpicks with Fright Night Part 2. But Roddy McDowall does a good job. I would still say his best is the first one, thanks to Tom Holland, that director and such. So I'm not sure Roddy McDowall, but he does a good job in that. But the others, yes. Tommy was asked in one interview if Halloween 3 were to be remade, who would have to play Dr. Chalice. He said Johnny Depp would be the only suitable choice at today's age. What would you think of that? I'm trying to remember who Dr. Chalice was. I'm bad with names. Who played him in Halloween 3? Let me check real quick. I should have looked that up before. I just want to double check. And of course, with my internet, it's going to take forever, so I should have looked it up on the phone, maybe. I mean, Johnny Depp, I do think he's a good actor. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about... Oh, come on, man. Work with me, internet. Work with me. Do I really have to go on the phone? This service, man. I don't know what is up with it. Okay. Sorry, bear with me on this, man. Bear with me on this. Because sadly, internet is like, if it's cloudy, if it's rainy, if something else is going on, is not the best, and it'll slow down and stuff. But then if I use my phone, then it takes up so much damn. Okay, so Tom Atkins character. So I'm bad with character names. So it's Tom Atkins, the lead. Of course, at the same time they pop up. So, no, I don't see Johnny Depp in that. I don't see Johnny Depp in that. I'm sorry, I don't. No, I don't see. I don't see Johnny Depp in that role. Maybe younger Johnny Depp, maybe, but nah, I don't see that. I mean, today's age to play that character. I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to even think of actors of today that done so out of it when it comes to movies and what movies are made and who to play that type of character. Bryan Cranston, that'd be pretty cool. I could see Bryan Cranston play that role. I could easily see Bryan Cranston playing that role. But okay, maybe you think he's a bit too old. Well, so is Johnny Depp. I mean, if Johnny Depp, he's pretty old. If it could be that, Bryan Cranston then as well. I think Bryan Cranston would be better. I would say like don't do it at all. There's no need for it. But if you have to, yeah, I would choose Bryan Cranston over Johnny Depp. Maybe name Johnny Depp because he's a famous guy. God, who else? I'm trying to think of movies today. Because I review movies of today's age, but at the same time, there's not a lot of new actors that really make me go haywire and go, yes, that guy. What's this guy doing? I mean, yeah, I don't even know. I'd have to give that more serious thought. So I'll stick with Bryan Cranston for now. Let me double check something real quick. Let's see what we got here. I'm just looking up movies of today, and if someone snaps out at attention and maybe go, oh yeah, that guy. Bear with me 1 second. Nathan Fillion. That would be I think Nathan Fillion would be a good choice. Nathan Fillion. Nathan Fillion. That would be a good choice. Or again, Bryan Cranston, if you don't mind someone a bit older. Let's see. I'll choose those two for now. Nathan Fillion or Bryan Cranston, so if he had to. But anyway, thanks once again, Corey. Yeah, I've always liked Tom Lee Wallace, and seems like a nice guy in interviews. Seems like a calm, down-to-earth guy. And I've liked some of his movies, and yeah. Sadly, didn't do a whole lot, but I did. Halloween 3 didn't do well and bombed. Friday Night 2 never got a release, and okay, it did well, but it was a people looked down on TV miniseries, TV work, especially at that time. And Vampires Los Muertos was a direct-to-video film with, what, John Bon Jovi? That I didn't think really was really much to run home about, so bad luck, bad call, whatever you want to case, bad. It is what it is, sadly. But, yeah, I still like Tom Lee Wallace. So with that said, thanks for watching. Thanks once again. Appreciate it. Corey, and we'll see you guys later.